Hello everyone and welcome to the new chapter which is implementing Ethernet LANs. In this class today we are going to learn about using the CLI, which is command line interface. So we are going to learn the accessing the Cisco Catalyst switch command line interface. Cisco uses the concept of a command line interface with its router products and most of its Catalyst LAN switch products. The CLI is a text-based interface in which the user, typically a network engineer, enter a text command and then press enter. Pressing enter sends the command to the switch, which tells the device to do something. The switch replies with some messages like results of the commands. Cisco Catalyst switches also support other methods to both monitor and configure a switch. For example, a switch can provide a web interface so that an engineer can open the web browser to connect to the web server running in the switch. Switches also can be controlled and operated with the network management software. Let's discuss about these switches. Cisco Catalyst switches. Cisco produces a wide variety of switch series or families. Cisco 2960XR series or family of switches as full-featured, low-cost wiring closet switches for enterprises. So some of these switches have 48 RJ45 unshielded twisted pair, which is UTP 10, 100,000 ports, meaning that these ports can auto-negotiate the use of 10 Mbps, 100 Mbps or 1 Gbps Ethernet. Cisco refers to the switch physical connectors as either interfaces or ports with an interface type and interface number. The interface type is either Ethernet, fast Ethernet, gigabit Ethernet, and so on for faster speeds. For Ethernet interfaces that support running at multiple speeds, the permanent name for the interface refers to the fastest supported speed. For example, 10, 100, 1000 interface, which is 10 Mbps, 100 Mbps, 1 GB or 1000 Mbps, would be called gigabit Ethernet no matter what the speed is currently in use. Accessing the command line iOS CLI. Cisco switches need some kind of software, OS software. It's called as Internetwork Operating System, iOS. It defines an interface for humans which are called as command line interface. So this iOS allows the user to use emulator program which accept the text which are entered by the user. When the user presses enters, this emulator sends the text to the switch. The switch processes that text as if it is a command, does what the command says and sends text back to the emulator. This can be accessed through three popular methods. What are the methods? We can have console, telnet we can use, or secure shell SSH. Telnet and SSH use IP network in which the switch resides to reach the switch. Console is a physical port to allow access to the command line interface. Console access requires both a physical connection between a PC and a console port, as well as some software is also required on a PC. After the PC is connected to the console, terminal works. So this is short console, cable, this is a connector, user mode, switch user mode, and TCP IP network. This is telnet SSH. So it can be accessed with these. So console is a physical port. Console requires both a physical connection between the PC as well as some software also. The terminal software treats all data as a text. It accepts the text and sends over the console. Any bits coming into the PC over the console connection are displayed as text. This emulator must be configured to use the PC serial port to match the setting on the switch console setting. The port settings are this: 9600 bits per second, no hardware flow control, 8-bit ASCII, no parity checks and 1 stop bit. 8-bit ASCII, no parity bits and 1 stop bits are collectively referred as 8 and 1. This terminal emulator application have supported for more than the ability to communicate over the serial port to the local device. Telnet and SSH to connect to other devices CLI. Now what is there with Telnet and SSH? Telnet uses the concept of a client, which is a terminal equipment, and a server, which is a switch. A Telnet client, the device that sits in front of a user, they basically accepts the keyboard input and sends those commands to the server. The server accepts the text, interprets and replies back. Cisco Catalyst switches enable a Telnet server by default, but it needs more configuration settings before we can successfully use. Telnet sends all data, including all the username passwords for the login, as a clear text data. We have user and enabled modes, which are privilege modes in this. All three CLI access methods place the user in the area of a command line interface called as user EXEC mode. User EXEC mode, sometimes also called user mode, allows the user to look around but not break anything. EXEC mode, part of the name, it refers to the fact that in this mode, when you enter a command, the switch executes the command and then display message which describe the result. Enable mode, also known as privilege mode or privileged EXEC mode. Enable mode gets its name from the enable command, which moves the user from the user mode to the enable mode. Privilege modes refers to the fact that powerful commands can be executed over here. We have reload command, which tells the switch to reinitialize or reboot iOS. iOS basically rejects the reload command when used in the user mode. Then the user moves to enable mode, which is privilege mode. At this point, iOS accepts the reload command when the user is in enable mode. Password security. We can set up a simple password protection. Simple passwords can be configured here in the login process. A Cisco switch with default settings, it is secure when logged inside a wired closet because the switch allows console only. By default, the console requires no password at all and no password to reach enable mode for users that happen to connect with the console. So people just set up a simple password protection for the console users. Simple passwords can be configured at 2 points in the login process from the console. When the user connects to the console and when any user moves to enable mode, the password prompt at both the points it has to enter. Then we have different keyboard commands: up arrow or control plus P, down arrow control plus N, left arrow control plus B, right control plus F, and backspace is there. We are having debug and the show commands. The single most popular Cisco iOS command is the show command. It lists the currently known facts about the operational status. Debug command also tells the user details about the operation of the switch. Show command issued from user mode. It lists the table that switch used to make the forwarding decision. Debug command acts like a live video camera feed. Once you issue a debug command, iOS remember issuing messages that any switch user can choose to see. Thank you.